It's got to be COINTELPRO. People aren't that stupid. I get emails and see articles saying, I'm lying, they don't throw troops' bodies in landfills. Even when it's in the mainstream news. They just attack whatever I say. So fine. I told you 2 years ago, a year ago, that Rick Perry was Al Gore's chief of staff in Texas, supported gun control, supported sanctuary cities, went to Bilderberg Group, doubled the size of the state of Texas, NAFTA, GATT, Gardasil. And on a bunch of those, people said, that's not true. He didn't work for Al Gore. That's not true. He didn't do this and that. And I just was like, yeah, he did. And I gave the documentation, and then later it got picked up by the national media, and Rick Perry is in deep political trouble and having some type of weird meltdown. Newt Gingrich is perhaps even worse than Rick Perry. Not that I thought it was possible. I mean, look, Al Gore, horrible. Bill Clinton, terrible. Barack Obama, just absolutely evil. They're all bad. They're all bad. There's one person, he's an older gentleman. They make fun of his suit being too big, but his mind is great. His knowledge is great. He's a true statesman, a true humanitarian, Ron Paul. And I've got all the articles here today. Gingrich takes the lead. Public policy polling. They average together his negatives and positives. He takes the lead against Kaine, then Romney, Perry, Bachmann, Paul, Huntsman, Santorum, and Johnson. Now, in all the polls I've seen, Paul's been second, third, or fourth, and we showed last night a new CBS piece. I've got to call Watson about that because it's up on Prisonplanet.tv. A listener pointed it out. Or CBS, when Ron Paul won the poll, removed it and then just said that he wasn't even in the rankings. Caught him again, 89 seconds, and then people try to play games. They go, Alex, the clip you played was over 2 minutes long. What do you mean 89 seconds? We taped it. Did you not read the description on the video? Did you not hear what I said? The televised debate on CBS was 60 minutes. There's a CBS memo admitting he was to be given 90 seconds. It's all confirmed. Yes, he was given a minute or so more once it went off TV for just the internet. And the audience was much smaller. But the televised debate, he was given 89 seconds. I'm going to say it again. So again, they try to twist everything that we say. They analyze it all, twist it, and then shove it out there to say we're lying. It's confirmed by the memo he was given 90 seconds, which he took 89 seconds of. So don't try to weasel out of that by saying, no, he had 2 minutes and 10 seconds. In the televised part, he had 89 seconds. 89 seconds. We got to go after Newt Gingrich now. They're going to keep just bringing new puppets in, knowing you'll wake up to them, and then they'll move on to another puppet who they can slip in last minute during the primaries. That's their plan to try to shoot down Ron Paul. Stay with us. We're going to break down election 2012.
We're on the march.
Ladies and gentlemen, we launched a major offensive yesterday. I'm going to tell you about that, and then we're going to go to Mark Hinkle, the national chairman of the Libertarian Party, the only third party that's got ballot access in all the states right now. So looking at 2012, we're going to discuss Ron Paul, the Libertarian Party, Jesse Ventura, a lot more, and where the Libertarian Party sees this country going. I see a huge awakening for liberty, but we're going to get his take because he obviously has got a lot of boots on the ground and talks to great libertarian activists and citizens all over this fine nation. Before I go any further, for much of a year, we had the Google bomb that a listener recommended, and over 70 times, I should have done it more if I would have known they could have created an algorithm to defeat us, where we could have the top Google searches that would then cause every time hundreds of articles, blogs, and newspapers to write about whatever term we put out there. Google admittedly rewrote their entire system on ranking and made major changes to stop it. I mean, that's the effect we're having. They admittedly were questioned by major publications about it, and they said, well, we're going to do something about it, and they did. To the point of now, even when things organically go up the charts, they're trying to block it. So we did a Twitter bomb yesterday, or a tweet bomb, truth bomb, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how to gauge it because I don't understand Twitter yet, but we saw just hundreds of thousands of people Twitter the term Infowars.com, and we got additional about 300,000 visitors yesterday on top of the million or so. So it had a big effect. We're still studying this State Department CIA organ, as it's admittedly, just like Google. and we're going to try to find cracks in the defenses to exploit the system. I want to thank all of you for what you've done. We're going to defend the Republic and defend human liberty against the corporate Borg together. Now, also, I want to challenge everybody to intensify the info war in 2011 into 2012. I am offering all of my films that are on DVD. America Destroyed by Design, The Matrix of Terror, The Masters of Terror, The Matrix of Evil, Reflections and Warnings with Aaron Russo, Fall of the Republic, The Obama Deception, Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA, Terror Storm, the Police State Trilogy, all 3 films in one package on 3 DVDs. Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, Martial Law, The Order of Death, The Road to Tyranny, 9/11 Chronicles, Truth Rising. And then, of course, my audio CD, The Music of Endgame and Terror Storm. It's excellent with some rants on it and a free citizen rule book and bumper stickers. That is all $99.95, and the small profit we make goes into this information warfare system, the nightly news, the syndicated radio show, hiring more reporters, everything we're doing. And you can finish all your Christmas shopping in one fell swoop at Infowars.com. You can also call toll-free, 888-253-3139. We have also discounted all the bumper sticker packages for a blitz of those posted in legal and lawful places. You can get those at cost right now at Infowars.com. I will not continue this special forever just because it's totally, I've had to hire more people and it's turned into a huge fiasco in the back because there's so many orders coming in. But it's a good fiasco. So now we're up to speed, got it all shipping out, but you can order those bumper stickers at cost. But I'm only doing that through Christmas just because it's too much of a good thing. Okay, enough said. I want to now shift gears to Mark Hinkle, and he's been part of the Libertarian Party for more than a decade and just done a great job. Mark4chair.com was the site he had when he was moving to get elected national chairman of the Libertarian Party. And their executive director is Wes Benedict. I've met him. He used to live in Austin, great guy. And Mark Hinkle joins us because he can really give us his view of how big this awakening is. Obviously, Ron Paul getting even more support and being really a libertarian than he got just 4 years ago. What does that signify? What are they seeing at the state levels? What's their view of 2012 and both the mainstream establishment candidates, Obama and then the other Republicans? What's his ideas for strategy? Who are some of the people that the state libertarian groups are looking at who they think are some of the people that may run for libertarian president? We're going to discuss it all with Mark Hinkle right now. Mark, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Alex, delighted to be on your show. Appreciate the exposure.
You bet. We appreciate you. So you just heard that diatribe of questions. What do you want to tackle first?
You expect me to remember all of that? Well, I hate to sort of start this off with a correction, but I do need to tell you that we're currently on the ballot in about 29 states, not all 50 states. Now, our goal is 50 states ballot status. But as you can imagine, Republicans and Democrats who control ballot access kind of don't like competition. And, of course, we are the competition. And so last time around in 2008, I think we spent about $500,000 just to get our candidates on the ballot. And in some states, we can't get our candidate on the ballot as a libertarian. We have to run them as an independent.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, obviously, I'm going from the last cycle. I guess you've got to climb the mountain each time again. But I remember reading at the time, you got in 48 states, right, and then had to run them as independent in a couple, or am I wrong?
Yes, exactly. And in the history, we're about to approach our 40th anniversary on December 11th. And in our 40th years, we've managed to gain 100% ballot access, D.C., Guam, etc., for 3 times. And hopefully 2012 would be the 4th time. But we have some significant hurdles, and of course these are hurdles that Republicans and Democrats don't typically have to jump over, but they make us and the Greens and the U.S. Constitution Party, etc., jump over these, which in itself is, I think, blatantly unfair and blatantly undemocratic. And
by the way, I think the Constitution Party is absolutely fabulous. You know, Aaron Russo and others involved in that also involve the libertarians. But, I mean, from my study, obviously, the most viable, I mean, the one that's got the roots, has the biggest infrastructure, is the libertarians.
Yep. True enough, and we have had that for quite some time. I think right now the U.S. Constitution Party is on the ballot in about 11 states, so we're almost 3 times ballot access. And we do think, as you said earlier, there's such a resurgence of people who look at the Constitution, value the Constitution, trying to uphold and re-energize the Constitution and bring liberty back to the United States. I think it's pretty darn clear, anybody who's really paying attention, we've evolved into a socialist state. And everywhere around the world where socialism has been tried, it's failed miserably.
Yeah, it's like catching a case of pancreatic cancer or brain cancer. I mean, it never works except for rulers that have armies of black uniformed enforcers.
Right, and even those, tend to fail over time because I think there's just an internal spirit of people seeking freedom, and when tyranny is imposed, people just automatically rebel against it. And we've seen this in the Middle East, and we're seeing it around the world. And I think there is a big resurgence. With Ron Paul, Gary Johnson in the Republican Party, I mean, clearly I think they're setting a lot of the debate because of the issues that they're bringing up. Because, frankly, most Republicans, Democrats would prefer to do a he said, she said, thing. And, hey, I'm a good guy. No, he's a bad guy. Whereas Libertarians like to talk issues. And so we actually bring issues to the table that the Republicans, Democrats would prefer not to discuss.
Now, speaking of the Republicans and Democrats, I mean, you look at Ron Paul. He actually raises issues. He's actually super ultra informed. I've probably interviewed Ron Paul 100 times or more, and there's never an article that he isn't already aware of, even if it came out that day. So when people have asked Ron Paul, he reads and scans over about 30 newspapers a day. Now with the internet, he scans that. Highly disciplined, sleeps about 5 hours a night. He is a machine. Obviously, he is an incredible constitutionalist, founding father material in not my view, in my research, perfect constitutional voting record. He really would be the superstar candidate for the Libertarians, and Ron Paul has been asked about this. Obviously, right now he's using the Republican Party engine. He has a chance. They've been ignoring him, keeping him down to 89 seconds in the last debate in the televised portion on CBS. But he has said, well, he won't rule out a third party. And I've told him on air, I've told him off air, and we'll be talking to him either tomorrow or sometime next week. He's very busy, but I'm going to bring this up to him. If he doesn't look like he's going to win the primaries by May, then he's got to switch over to a third party to keep issues injected and to try to force his way into the debates. And the only platform there, and a platform that also fits right into his worldview, is the Libertarians. So he's on this launch pad right now, but if his rocket doesn't get launched properly, we can just move the Saturn 9 rocket right over and put it on the Libertarian launch pad. What's your take on that as the national chairman of the Libertarian Party? Well,
as a chairman, I can't endorse any particular candidate prior to our nominating convention, but we certainly welcome anybody who is serious about freedom. And, Ron Paul in particular, has been our 1988 presidential candidate, and he is a lifetime member still in the Libertarian Party. So, he certainly would be welcome here in the Libertarian Party, as would former Governor Gary Johnson, who was also a dues-paying member of the Libertarian Party back when he was governor of New Mexico. So both of those folks would be very welcome, and we'd love to have them come in and compete for the nomination, and I suspect either one of them would get a very warm reception at our national convention next year in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Well, that's really well said. I mean, I understand you're staying neutral on this because it's for the Libertarians of the nation to choose who they want.
Exactly.
Talk about that process.
So other than the Republicans and Democrats, they typically have the taxpayers fund their primary system. But Libertarians think, hey, that's a private organization selecting their candidates. The taxpayers should not be subsidizing their party activities. So we run our own caucuses and create our own delegates. Our delegates go to our national convention. They pay their